Hi, everybody. I want to do a little bit more personal sharing here today. I've just been reflecting that as a therapist, sometimes when I'm sitting in my office across from my client, and let's just say it's you, when I'm sitting across from you, I think to myself how odd and wonderful it is that I get to have this job. I get to make a living by being in an intimate space with a perfect stranger who pays me so that they will open up to me and reveal their secrets and to be vulnerable and hopefully to be really honest. Because interestingly enough, those are the three pillars of intimacy: honesty, self-revealing, and vulnerability. Now, when somebody comes to see me, they don't necessarily get all that vulnerable because we don't have that much of a personal history or a personal relationship, but they do focus on self-revealing. So I want to focus a little bit more on that today. Self-revealing really means letting the inside come out, letting oneself be seen, choosing visibility over invisibility. And I tell you, we collectively use invisibility as such a protective mechanism. Well, if you don't see it, if I can hide this successfully, I'll be okay because this is something I know or suspect you disapprove of or don't like. So I will hide it. When I'm a kid, are you kidding? We pick up on that stuff really early on. And so in therapy, self-revealing can be so revelatory for somebody where there's a safe space. I can actually be honest and true and really tell you what's going on in my heart and what's going on in my life. I can confess things that I actually may have shame about. I can do that in a safe setting where I'm not being judged. It's like, oh my God, I remember when I first encountered that. And lucky me, I encountered that as a teenager. I participated in some therapy groups unknowingly. I didn't get into it because I was seeking it out. And it was so revelatory to me and so wonderful. I fell in love with the setting. I fell in love with therapy. And I think it was my destiny from early on to seek this out. And I didn't go straight into therapy school. I did other things. I was a nursery school teacher. I worked as a nurse in the ICU for years. And it finally, I started doing personal work and had a group of people with whom we used to get together in my house and do intimate emotional work together as a group, focusing on individuals. It was so revelatory and so wonderful and so bonding and so high. To be honest with you, it was so high. Finally, I recognized that, okay, therapy is the right setting for me to really have a meaningful life, that really works for me. So I know this is sort of personal sharing, but really there is good information. The whole thing about self-revealing, it's important. These are things that belong in intimate relationships. Naturally, when there's love, there's going to be self-revealing and vulnerability and honesty. And I get to participate in that every day, whether my client knows it or not. But inevitably, we both feel it. That's the amazing thing. And I think that's a big part of the therapeutics is that we just feel the intimacy that we are creating together by letting ourselves be vulnerable, honest, and self-revealing. And I do that even though I know as a therapist, I know when it's your turn. It isn't the mutuality of a friendship, but I also let myself be vulnerable. I do selective self-revealing, and it is my choice to share with you honestly. I'll give you honest feedback. Oh, I tell you, the other day I told somebody, you know, being with you is like attending a NASCAR race. You are going so fast. Your brain is going so fast. I only get to be with you once every 360 degrees for brief moments. And I tell you what, that's not satisfying in terms of relationship. I can see why everybody that you've ever been in relationship with ends up taking advantage of you because they're pissed at you for not being available. Man, and I got to say that out loud, and it was so accurate and it was so humbling for the person because I interrupted her. I stopped her car. I held her hostage for a little moment so that she could hear it. And she knew that I was choosing an intimate space with her. She could feel the love from me that she actually stopped her car and let the message land a little bit. That's the kind of intimacy I get to be part of. And of course, I seek it out in its mutual form. I seek out deep, intimate friendships because I not only want to dish it out, but I want to be on the receiving end of it because that's where real help happens. Things that I don't see, that I'm not aware of, that I'm doing unconsciously. I need help. I need that intimate setting. It's built in. I think we all need it. All right. So I'm just reflecting on how cool it is that the things we need are the things that are built in. And it just behooves me and behooves us to get to it, to get with it, to give permission to myself to actually reach out for the help and the intimacy that I want and need. Okay. Love you.